Welcome back to Sportsbook Review Videos. It is once again time for the Sharp versus Swinger NFL picks battle. So far throughout the season, I have a slight lead over the Swinger, but not by much at 8-3-1, whereas he is at 8-6. And right now we're looking into some totals here. Haven't been the greatest in this realm, but Swinger, I'm feeling good about this week. I like both of our plays here, so let's get back on track here in week number 6. Let's start to ring up those total wins. What do you got for us here for the 6th week of the season?
Okay, Jordan, looking at Cardinals and Steelers, total 44 and a hook. Look, we know that both teams can light up the scoreboard. Pittsburgh's averaging 24 points per game, good for 11th in the NFL, while the Cardinals owning the top scoring offense in the league, averaging 38 points per game. Just unbelievable. But, of course, people are going to look at their defensive rankings. Cardinals ranking 5th in the league for points allowed, while the Steelers rank 7th in that category. But I would submit to you and ask you this question. Who have they played that has really posed an offensive threat? And the answer is nobody. That's right, baby. Let's take a look at the Steelers. I mean, they played St. Louis and San Francisco. I mean, hell, that's going to be good to pump you up, 10 or 12 notches. And if you look at the Arizona Cardinals, Jordan, I mean, for the love of God, what a slate they've had. They have played San Francisco and St. Louis, just like the Steelers. They also had the Saints, the Bears, and the Lions.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, if they weren't ranked 5th, I'd say, what the hell's going on? Guys, there's going to be a lot of points in this game because these defenses aren't what they appear to be, but the offenses certainly are. Even with Michael Vick quarterbacking the Steelers, the Steelers just have a wealth of talent. They've got Bell on the ground, they've got Antonio Brown through the air, and Carson Palmer just tossing darts all over the field. I'm going over 44 and a hook in this one.
I had two plays in mind when I was doing some research on this one for the over, and that game was definitely one of them. I'll just leave it at that. Also, I'll say though, I completely agree with you on the Cardinals. I have a little side bet with a buddy of mine about the Cardinals potentially getting out of the NFC and going to the Super Bowl, and I made the exact point you did, man. With the exception of the Bucs, they've probably played every worst team in the NFC so far to start their season. So I completely agree with you on Arizona. I like them. I think they're a great team. They probably will end up with the best record this year just because of how they've gotten started. But man, I just do not trust them to get past a team like the Packers yet. I'm not quite there yet on them. But the other game that I did mention here, little NFC North battle between a couple of those bad teams that we just mentioned. The Arizona Cardinals have dropped 40 points on the Bears, and the Lions meeting up in Detroit this week, total of 43.5. Now, big news out of this one is it looks like Alshon Jeffrey might play. That's going to be a huge boom to the Chicago Bears offense, a team that obviously came back and didn't play bad against Kansas City last week in Kansas City. Now going in Detroit against a much worse defense. I think Jay Cutler and the Bears here have a good chance of putting up some points. And on the flip side, if you take a look at the last 3 meetings between these two teams here from Ford Field, average total ended up at about 58 points. One time they dropped, I think, 70-some-odd points combined with one another a year or two ago. Last 3 of those meetings have gone over the total, and I'm riding that trend, going with over 43.5 because it is by far the lowest total that these two teams have seen in Detroit for the last 3 or 4 years. Now, I know Matt Stafford's been absolute garbage this year. I've never been a big Matt Stafford fan. I kind of have been a proponent of the Calvin Johnson makes Matt Stafford argument, and I think that's finally coming to the forefront here in most people's minds. But this is the Chicago Bears defense we're talking about here, and this is a pass defense that I think if Stafford and the Lions can't get on track against the Chicago Bears this week on offense, they just need to bench Matt Stafford, because if it's not going to happen this week, it's not going to happen at all. Over 43.5, I think both teams score about 24 to 27 points. See a nice overplay on this one here. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and regarding Matt Stafford, he's been overrated for a long time, but let's not forget, he's not nearly as bad as he's shown this year. I mean, there is a gray area here.
I agree.
And, as you said, the Bears defense is so bad that even Matt Stafford, average, should be able to put 3 or 4 touchdowns on the board against this crew.
Yeah, you have to think they get it going this week. I mean, like I said, if they don't, it's never going to happen. So I think it's going to happen this week at home. It's way too good of a play here, I think, at 43.5. So those look at your total plays going over 43.5 between the Lions and the Bears here for me. Swinger is going with Arizona-Pittsburgh over 44.5. I think both those excellent values of totals left at less than 45 points here this week. But that'll do it for us this time. Make sure you check out our spread plays as well. Side note, we've been much more successful on the spreads there, so definitely make sure you check out that video if you haven't yet. But for Swinging Johnson, I'm Jordan Sharp, and for Sportsbook Review, best of luck to you on all your Week 6 NFL picks.